So in his press conference as well as after practice, Coach Brent Venables dropped a couple updates on some players. And then the injury availability report dropped on Wednesday evening. And so we're going to dive into some of the comments from BV, some of the things that I thought that made sense to talk about. And we'll talk about the availability report on some of these players, as well as address a couple players y'all asked me about. So let's dive into that. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. This video is powered by our partners over at Prize Picks. Shout out to them for sponsoring the video. Sign up with our code UNFAIR and get $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Use our code UNFAIR and the link in the description below. So Brent Venables went in and talked about, first off, the press conference on Tuesday was honestly a repeat of the coach's show. A lot of the questions were basically the exact same questions he answered the night before. Talked about, letting go of Seth Luttrell and just how it didn't work. Talked about how we're an abomination on offense this year and how he's, feels sad for the fans and we got to do better. Totally got that. In there was a little bit of good news. He talked about how the wide receivers want to come back to play. Mentioned the 4 players that are injured right now. And a few of you are asking me, Jay, what's up with Jaden Gibson? We haven't heard anything on it, blah, blah, blah. So BV talked about him on Tuesday, and he said that Jaden Gibson is doing well with his rehab. Says he's out practicing every day and is ahead of schedule. Granted, because of the injury, he's not back until next season. So he will be back. That is the plan. So he is on his way to getting back out there next year, is the quote from Brent Venables. And he asked some questions around like Gavin Sawchuk. Gavin did not play last game, and he pointed out that Gavin strained his quad before the game. And from there, he made mention that, hopefully we can see him, but we're not sure. We saw the injury report dropped, and on that sheet, boom, you saw Gavin Sawchuk setting as doubtful. Outside of that, you got to see that Deion Burks is now sitting at questionable. And BV said that he is day to day. So he's, working back from that quad situation. And I'm going to be honest, with him being on the availability report as questionable, I don't think he's going to play. If he was probable, I would have said, okay, there's a good chance we're going to see him today. But because he's listed as questionable, I'm just going to be upfront with all of you and say, I don't see him playing. And that's okay. It's just, unfortunately, we have been really hit by that bug. You get Sawchuk injuring himself before a game, and then you get Deion Burks, down. So, yeah, that is unfortunate. I do not expect, like I said, to see him at all in this game. So we'll see how it goes. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Would love to hear from you all. And so, but BV did say some things about the offense, bringing in Kevin Johns as OC. I want to talk about that. But before I do that, I want to talk to you all about our partners over at Prize Picks. Shout out to them for sponsoring this video. The most fun I've had with daily fantasy sport this past season. One of the things about them is they're very easy to use. Add 2 or more players, predict more or less on their stats, boom, you're in. Takes me about 60 seconds to knock out a lineup. A little bit more from really trying to be strategic. And they're going to hook you up. Sign up with our code UNFAIR in the link in the description below and get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. And you don't even have to win the lineup. You get the $50 no matter what. It's all guaranteed. Because it's so simple to play, they've got their weekly promotions like Taco Tuesdays where they give you like deals on certain players, as well as their Flex Friday. So every Friday, they offer a protected play to each of the members. And the good thing is you either win or you get your cash back. I put in a couple over here for Genty as well as Kyle McCord. You probably can't see it because of the focus. But we'll see if Genty more than 193.5 rushing yards. Kyle McCord, 333.5 passing yards on the less. And then Grant Nussmeier on the more at 275.5 passing yards. So check them out. So go to prizepicks.com and use our code UNFAIR to receive a guaranteed $50 once you play your first $5 in lineups. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Now let's talk about some of the stuff he had to say about the offense. And there's a little bit of good and bad in here. Look, the offense has been terrible. Nothing else to even say. Can't sugarcoat it. Can't even hype y'all up about it like I want to. Just going to say it's been bad. And now that we have a fresh perspective, that's exactly what Brent Venables saw. He talked about Kevin Johns on here. Shout out to all the beat writers out there grabbing some notes and stuff from practices. But he said Kevin Johns is like a pig in mud right now, right? He brings a fresh perspective, and he's been excited about being out there with the quarterbacks and the players. Mainly what he did, he worked a little bit with them, but he focused on advanced scouting, as Seth Luttrell wanted to manage most of that himself. And now we see that, we kind of need to have him go out there and play. He also talked about some of the younger players. Like, I know that a lot of you have asked me about young offensive linemen. Are we going to see like Isaiah Autry-Dent? Are we going to see Josh Sosa, Eugene Brooks? Are we going to see Eddie Pierre-Louis? Are they ready to play? And he said, the big thing with them is that, they're going back and forth and deciding if Eddie Pierre-Louis, if they should keep his red shirt or not, if they should go ahead and burn it. If they play him this weekend, that means that it's burned because he's going to play for the rest of the season, barring injury, knock on wood. And if not, then you'll see him probably Missouri, Alabama, and LSU, because those are the last games of the season. Or you may see him Maine, and then he misses one of those games in between to preserve that red shirt. Because of him being a true freshman, you kind of want to preserve that red shirt to get that additional year. Now that he's tuning up and he's starting to do more winning in practice and really doing better in the scheme, because you still got to learn. You can't just go out there and just willy-nilly it. I think Eddie Pierre, you may see some changes on the offensive line and see some of the younger players playing a lot more. Because truth be told, we may as well start prepping for next season. With 3 losses, playoffs is very much far-fetched. We're probably going to work our butts off now on prepping for 2025, which that's probably going to be our best year. And we just pray that we walk in there a lot healthier than we did here in 2024. I think a healthy 2024, we're competing in just about every game. Injured 2024, yeah, no chance. So BV has some optimism there. I'm not going to, like I said, I ain't going to sugarcoat it for you and make it seem like, we actually have a chance of anything. But I'm not out on what this team can possibly do this season. So to me, we can try to be excited and be happy. We can try to, hope for the best, but I understand the struggle. So let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. How y'all feeling about the injury report? Deion Burks being questionable, Gavin Sawchuk's doubtful, and Brent Venables is hoping to see something different when it comes to the team now. I know that a lot of the players have been rallying around each other. The post-practice interviews have been fantastic. Go check it out on the sites. You've got 247 who's out there. You got OU Insider as well, Sooner Scoop. Pick your favorite one and go check them out and listen to the players talk about how they feel like things are a little bit more energized in comparison to how it was before. We'll see if the change in the guard helps. We'll talk about offensive coordinator, candidates later. I prefer to wait until I start seeing who's losing their jobs. That way we'll have a better understanding of what coaches are realistic or who's going to be pulled in to take head coaching gigs. And then we'll go from there. I'll be at the game. If you're going to be in Oxford, find your boy. I'll be walking around. You'll see me in a hat, probably the locks. So find me. And we'll talk soon. Peace.